Okay.
Cinnamon.
Giving me the.
Oh, have you had a shot of this yet?
No, it's giving me Big Red.
It is Big Red, right?
Oh, wow.
It's nice. It's like
Let me tell you something.
Take the bite away.
Let me just say this, because you all introduced me to some good things.
Oh,
all right? All right, I appreciate it, too.
I like it. Being a curator of delicious and amazing things.
Can that be your new title? The curator of delicious and amazing things.
Oh, I like that, baby.
Executive curator.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is D.
This is C.
And this is Black Meets World. And we have some awesome guests. Y'all better get ready. Financial literacy is the name of the game. We have some guests in the room. We have Utak West.
Thanks for coming back. Utak West, man. That just sounds like, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
It sounds like a famous name.
Yes.
It sounds great. Who's here with us, who founded his own business, Higher Self Lifestyle and Business. We have our good friend, Najee Omar, who founded his own business called Spark House.
That's right. What's up, New York City? I'm in the house. New York, Atlanta, Los Angeles.
Yeah, this is what New York sounds like.
This is what New York City sounds like. Sounds New York, yeah.
We international, baby. We got
international.
New York listening. We got people from all over the world.
I was listening. I was going down. I said Australia, Senegal.
Facts.
All right, Costa Rica.
Facts.
Okay. Shoot.
That part.
And we have Mac. So.
The shade, man. I tell you.
It was so good. I didn't even realize. It caught me off guard.
The shade. I swear.
Mac is actually serving a purpose here. He's bartending tonight.
I always serve a purpose.
Yo, the shade is good. I'm entertained, to be perfectly honest.
All right.
So, y'all, we did this last year where we talked about financial literacy, and we kind of wanted to follow up. It's been a whole year later. My whole life has changed since new things came in.
My whole life has changed.
Since you came in.
Hey,
You gotta see a full body roll when you do that.
You were that special one. Hey. You better.
Back to the topic.
A lot has changed in the past year, at least for me, and so I thought it would be cool. We thought it would be cool if we revisited the topic of just like how to budget and maintain your finances, especially given that we have two people who have sort of branched out and founded their own businesses, which means a whole other tax bracket of managing money.
And taking perspectives from people who are entrepreneurs and managing employees and also doing the payroll and also seeking business and going into people who might have a job at a company and what the difference is there and just our journey with savings and all that good stuff, especially to help one another, right? Like I think like that's the big foundation of all of this. How can we educate one another, especially on resources or financial advisors? I think that's like one big thing I didn't discover till like my late 20s.
Right. First of all, you want to start with taxes? Because tax season is here.
We here, ain't it? Wait, so first of all, when do you typically do your taxes? Is it on CP time or you want that check so you do it extra early?
So I always did it with my parents.
Okay.
And my mother she about that paper. So she ain't on nobody's CP time when it comes to her money. And our taxes, she's been emailing me for 2.5 weeks about when I'm getting my taxes.
She said, bring your W-2.
She's like,
here.
Get your forms. What are you doing? I'm actually on my own this year because I just decided to be, and I'm trying to figure out where I should do my taxes. So if y'all have ideas, let me know, because I'm still kind of like trying to find the best move. I hear you get more money back if you don't do it online, like if you do it in person.
Yeah.
So I'm working on...
See, I wouldn't know that. See, this is why we having this damn
I have
episode.
3 people I need to call tomorrow on my day off.
If anyone has a tax expert, I'm looking at Mac.
Yeah, I got.
I have 3 people I'm gonna call tomorrow, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Because TurboTax ain't doing your girl nothing.
Like TurboTax and the online tax things, like they do it in bulk, so they only give you like the standard kind of breaks and shit. But if you go through like an actual tax professional, like a person, they'll know your whole story.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to be illegal, but they'll look at it from a perspective of how I can make it look rather than TurboTax looking at like what your actual situation is.
TurboTax looks at you like a machine, whereas a person looks at you as a person.
Right. And I can also see, I mean, just because I don't trust the government, I can also see the government giving TurboTax kickbacks and shit to not give you certain write-offs and shit like that you're entitled to.
Never thought about that. That's
Neither
crazy.
have I.
Think about it. Everybody does their taxes, so the government stands to save billions of dollars probably. You know?
That's deep.
So definitely, I always go through an individual. I got a really good guy in Atlanta. Let me know Y'all need
I ain't playing with you. You better give me his information before we leave today.
I will. He is like blessed me for the last 5 years.
See, this is what I'm saying. I got more money back when I was in college and they has no job versus me looking at this damn TurboTax and being like, you owe X amount of money. How do I owe money?
The same. So we had the same person forever, and then she retired, I guess. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're in a quandary, because now we need to find a new person. But she was hooking us up. It was this white lady. She was just like, okay, I got y'all. She knew our family.
Shout out to Quandary. Yes. Okay.
My story is a little bit different. So I have been using online, but I think now that I'm operating my own business, right, everything's going to look different, right? And so I'll be able to have an update for you by the end of the year.
Hello.
But I actually recently just did my taxes online, and I come from, it's interesting, so my background, for the past couple of years, I've worked more like a freelance artist, and I've worked for multiple organizations. So just dealing with your 1099s plus W-2s, like all of those different things, it can be a different story. And so I got to the point where it's just like, I just need something fast, quick. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
But so a cousin of mine, she works for an accountant. She's out in Brooklyn. And so, you know, we got homie in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have this boss woman in Brooklyn. All right.
Yeah.
So we have a plethora of people to choose from.
To pull from, right?
So you said the woman you used to go to who's retired is white. Are the other people? Just because it's called Black Meets World, I'm just curious if it's a race.
Excellent question. 2 of the 3 people I believe are white. 1 is black.
Gotcha.
They're all women.
This is a black woman who operates and owns her own business, and she also is a professor at Brooklyn College as well. Adjunct.
Do we need more black CPAs?
We need more black everything.
Shout out to Hidden Figures.
Everything black. We need more people who understand our shit.
You know what?
All the black people just snapped by the way.
Yeah, so I feel like we do need more black everything, but I think CPA. The thought of being an accountant bores the shit out of me. Just the thinking of that, like, oh, I'm going to work in accounting and finance. Maybe I don't know enough, but that's not something that I would feel like would be sexy. I would just be like, oh, I'm sitting at this desk all day crunching all these damn numbers.
Some people really like Excel spreadsheets. Some people really
and I
like
live on a
printing out.
spreadsheet, but I don't know that I'd really find joy in doing that as my job.
But that's you. You know what I mean? I get it. But I know people who really get off on creating pivot tables and doing all that other kind of stuff. I guess it just depends on the person. You know what I'm saying? I wish I, in school, had that education to know. Because I had to literally go to YouTube and learn how to create pivot tables and do it efficiently and learn shortcuts. Because the amount of time it took me to complete something in Excel at my job was a waste of time. I was like, let me go ahead and teach myself, because clearly I didn't learn it in school, because I didn't go to B school in undergrad or nothing like that, or get a business degree. I was in journalism. But I feel like a skill like that can help you in all aspects of life, whether or not you do become a CPA or you just have, a financial accounting background.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not something they teach
us. And any company would have it too.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not something they teach us, life skills wise. And I've always been a firm believer that I feel like, in school and stuff, they don't teach you life skills. There's so many things that we don't learn in school, but how to budget and manage money is certainly one of them. So you touched on something I just wanted to get back to, and I'm sure you have the same obstacle. How do you file taxes for yourself and for a business? How does that even work? Or, do you claim some? I don't know. Y'all tell us.
And so the best thing to do is to get it to somebody who knows what to do, because nobody is a CPA here at this table, right? Okay. And you're gonna end up losing money to not go to an expert. You're gonna end up losing money. So that's the best thing.
Right. And so you file separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet, so I'll let you know. Yeah,
2018.
2018. I just started and launched my own organization, so I have an update for you next year.
Look, financial literacy. I work in finance. I work in finance in that whole industry.
Are you doing something to get back to this episode?
Yeah, and it's something actually my friends and I, like my entrepreneurial black friends, have always talked about. Is kind of the tax code and black people, our unawareness of the tax code. Donald Trump hasn't paid fucking taxes in 20 years, supposedly, of $90 million fucking dollars. And that's how the rich stay rich, is they use the system to their advantage.
Crazy.
That's something black people, we don't know. Yes, we do need more CPAs, and we do need more people who knows those codes. You guys, as small businesses who live your business, you need to know that, because you can essentially, I don't know if I could say this on here, you can write off every fucking thing. You live your business, so you can write off everything. You buy some shit, you bought it for a fucking client. You write off everything, dude. That's how rich white people have been doing this for years. That's how they stay rich.
They wrote the book on
this. Yes, that's the extra paycheck that they get, right? It's real as fuck, man. It's like there are like things we don't know because we aren't in the Gamma Psi at Cornell or some shit like that. We don't have these business owners telling us these things that they're telling these young like white kids and stuff like that. My coworkers know this shit.
So what do you
Nobody goes through TurboTax. That's a joke at my job.
What do you do?
Oh, really?
I work in commercial finance, so commercial banking.
Everybody at your job goes through who now?
I mean, they all have their people, like, whatever. Like,
that's fascinating.
Because it's all about...
So wait, could you do taxes, though?
No, I'm not an accountant.
But he's in a field where he would have contacts who would know how to, like...
I'm in a field where people really care about money. Yeah. About their money.
Right.
And you do your own shit. You get your fucking family accountant, some rich white guy in the Hamptons. You fucking worry about how you can make it look, not what it is.
Yo, can we touch on that? So the fact that you said you are in finance and all your coworkers they look at TurboTax as a joke. This is me for the past 3 weeks just arbitrarily asking people at work in a media industry, for a person. I'm like, oh, so what do you do for finances? This is my boss. She's like, well, I've been using H&R Block for the last 7 years, and I just go online now. Me asking another coworker, well, I've been using TurboTax for the last couple of years. Another coworker, TurboTax. Another coworker, some type of online. There might be one person who I've talked to who's told me they had somebody because it was a sister who already did the taxes in the first place. But everybody else uses it online. And I'm just like, I don't want to use no online resources. So it's amazing, depending on the education level and what you know you can
get. Your industry.
Right, in your industry, because you know that you can get more money. Because I didn't know that if you went through an actual person, you can get more.
Right.
Until this fucking episode
that we're recording. You could possibly get more. But the online services are available for the masses, though. That's the point. Like, be about your shit and be about your money. Because did you buy a house this year? You could get a break for that. But did you have to do any renovations or anything? Because that's something you can add on too. What about what'd you do search? Did you spend money while you were searching for the house? Because you could write that off too. It's an umbrella of things. Anything
Don't
that
give
has
away too much now.
No, I'm just saying. I'm telling you, I've had my dude blessing me for 5 years. He has put me on shit.
You better give me his number before.
But he is very busy. You gotta get to him soon, early.
So the couple people that I know that are doing taxes are not starting. I don't know if the word is residential, but individual and family taxes until after March 1st, because they're doing all of their corporations taxes up until then, and then from March 1st to April 1st, they're doing individuals.
I wanted to say, I think the key thing here is no matter what industry you're in, right, I think it's this idea of how we're sharing the resources and this idea of something that you talked about, those like financial literacy, right? And so just being able to even have and understand even the basics of those conversations that I think what we as a community typically are not well versed in. And so I think it's being able to have those conversations and then having access to those resources is what can really change a lot of things. Not that you have to be the expert, but that you can obtain those things and know that they exist and then where to seek them.
So on top of that, how are we functioning in New York? Because this is one of the most expensive cities to live in. The cost of living here is high. So how are y'all managing your budgets in terms of we're about to go out and spend X amount of money, or we're going to go to this event this week? Don't do this, because I already know what you're about to say.
What am I about to say, dude?
Something about you being frugal.
I am a frugal person.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
I am a frugal person. I don't care what any of y'all have to say.
And listen, you can live in your own truth, but the rest of us know what's good. So for those of us.
So for those who don't know me, I
would characterize herself as a frugal person.
Why would you say that I'm not frugal? What are the characteristics?
Do we need to go through this for real?
Let us know.
Okay, so y'all, for real, this conversation happened maybe a month ago where C and I, we were actually on the road trip to DC, and we had this whole conversation about what it means to be frugal. And C was like, I'm frugal. And I almost crashed the car. I turned around and said, who? She said, I'm frugal, da-da-da-da. I said, C, we could call any of these 3 people right now, and they would tell you you're not frugal. You gotta be fucking kidding me. All my friends know I'm frugal. Da, 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 da. We call up the first friend. The first friend, it was like, no, girl, you're not frugal. You like to find deals, but frugal's not the word I would use, which is also what Max said. he backed me up too.
The definition of frugal is sparing or economical with regard to money or food.
You don't sparingly do anything, fam. You just find the deal to spend the money.
You can't say you don't know her pockets though, man. She might be able to afford all the things she does.
But that's not frugal. Like, I might be able to afford things too, but I'm not spending that money. The difference between you and me is you see paying for Equinox as being frugal because it's a deal. I see not paying for Equinox at all being frugal because I'm not spending that money. That's the difference. And I'm not saying that
is a priority in my life.
Well, I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm saying that we see that differently. Me not spending that money to me is frugal. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said.
And so, but see, you're definitely resourceful.
Yes, resourceful.
Resourceful is the word. It's not frugal. It's resourceful.
And so you'll be able to find a deal. Even though if something that you want is a little bit more luxurious than what you would buy.
So you would say I'm economical?
Yes.
All right, so I just want to go from the origin of frugal. It comes from the Latin word frux, which also translates into frugi, which means economical and thrifty, which also then goes into frugalis, which is the same definition. I just want to be very clear with the terminology and the definition of frugal. We can move on to the next topic.
C is resourceful. So all I was really asking is, how do y'all manage to budget your money? One thing that I started doing was setting a 2-drink minimum for myself while I'm out.
Maximum?
Sorry. You're right. 2-drink maximum when I'm out at a bar. Because essentially, I'm just spending under $20 no matter what I'm doing. Like, I'm not really an expensive drink. I'm not about to buy, like, 3 Patron shots anyway. So if I'm getting whatever's on the happy hour menu or whatever, if I only purchase 2 drinks, my pockets are saved for the night, which is a blessing. Granted, I've been drinking in the house and in good company recently, so, like, it's not helping my liver, but it is helping my pockets.
# winter. Okay.
One thing that we should all probably do is go through and check our subscriptions that kind of renew on their own and see which ones we can eliminate.
That's real.
Because I did that at one point. And I was just like, yo, I really don't need this.
What do you subscribe to?
Do we need Netflix and Hulu? Some things is just like, okay, you signed up for this thing, but do you really need it? Like, I had some kind of, I don't know, and this was under my business. I had some kind of subscription to some email signature thing. And I was like, what is this? Why am I? This
why?
Is just, like, when did I do this? And like, why? But if they'll just keep on taking $5 or $10 or whatever forever.
And it adds up.
It adds up.
And
because
so
that's a drink.
It's a Chipotle bowl, but I used to subscribe to 3 music services. I had Tidal, Spotify, and Apple Music. In addition to our SoundCloud account.
I had all 3 of them, and I prefer Spotify.
I just want to make this point. That I realize I'm paying for the same service 3 times. So that's a problem.
The same songs mostly.
Yeah, like I realized like this is ridiculous. That's $20 now I have back per month just from literally looking at my bank statement.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I wanted to add that I learned from Utak was really just being creative over what we have at our fingertips. Like subscription services and stuff can be convenient, right? But I mean, I don't want to encourage any illegal activity, but I'm just saying, be creative. You get what I'm saying? Like, do a little bit of searching, and seeking you shall find.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Come through.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to think. Sometimes it gets to the point where is it really a priority? This expense, and if not, you don't know how much you'll save in the long run.
Yeah. You know what? I like that we just broached this because it reminded me how it is to come from different economical standpoints, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're in a position, now I'm in my late 20s, I'm approaching 30. You know, don't get me wrong, I don't plan on being at no corporation for a long time, so I'm trying to save to prepare myself once I am back struggling like I was when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is like an aha moment I had where I was at a party and that I threw. It was a Super Bowl party. And mind you, there was food on food on food and drinks on drinks on drinks. You ain't have to tell nobody. But you remember in college when you had to tell like, nah, for real, if you come through the door empty-handed, I'm not letting your ass in. Or if you had a struggle for like, well, we got chips and dip, that's about it. But when you get to a certain age, I feel like travel, parties, or anything like that comes to a certain point because a lot of people in your circle may have income where they're not tripping about putting $40 towards like a little potluck or something like that. And I've noticed like a lot of conversations I've had now is with people who are like, yeah, so when I bought my first property, these conversations are very different from what I had only 3 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's interesting coming from different perspectives, especially as an entrepreneur. I have to prepare myself to eliminate costs that aren't necessary, right? I'm not getting any consistent income. I know the income I'm getting is something I'm going out after and seeking, right? Versus being in a salary job where I know I'm probably going to get a consistent paycheck if I do just the bare minimum or do my role. So it's interesting because I like the perspective of seeing both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just this is the company you keep. You spend differently with different groups, I think. So I have certain groups of friends who I can text and they're ready.
Blow money.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, we doing this? Let me know when, and I got my funds together, versus some other groups that need to plan for a year. And I'm fine with that because I like planning and not spending money, but I also like sometimes doing things on a whim, which is good.
I think it's all about just knowing where you are. You know what I mean? And because you should be able to shift between the friends that want to blow through or friends that need to take a year to plan, but it depends on where your pockets are. And I think this idea of your mindset, your mentality, that's the biggest thing, right? And so even I speak for myself. There were moments in college where I was dirt poor, where I was scraping change together to take a bus to my internship in Los Angeles. Like, nobody rides a bus in LA, you know what I mean? But I would be scraping change together to make it there to and from, and I had the basic needs, right? So when I'm getting these checks coming in, and I think I could just hop on,
blow it,
cab rides here and there. It's just like, how do I shift back to mentality of how I was able to get to point A to point B just because I had the money, because then I'm starting to think about building that wealth and what that looks like.
That's real. And I think I get ahead of myself. All the time I have to check myself because I'm hanging out with D and Mac and Dre. That's nothing to say about whatever they're doing. But I'm 6 years younger. I have to check myself about that. I just have to say,
this is what Jersey City sounds like. D over here throwing shade.
I'm really
D
not.
over here naming names too.
Anyway, my point is, there are days where I'm like, oh, I just can't do this. For example, now this is shade. You ready? See.
You ready?
My eyebrows lifted. I'm ready. I feel like I'm about to. What's up? You want to go and take the shot before we do this?
Let's do it. Finish your thought.
Okay. C is going to Vegas, Atlanta, Ibiza, and then back to New York for her birthday.
Actually,
a milestone
Vegas,
birthday.
New York, Ibiza, and then Atlanta.
Okay, well, the order really was irrelevant.
A milestone.
It's a 30th birthday.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. My point is, I realize I'm not there. I would love to do all of those things, but it's not. There's times where I have to really check. Oh,
the definition of frugality is,
y'all see the shit
if I'm able to get on a flight. So
Mac, you going?
I will say that because D plans her trips 8 years in advance and spends $8,000 on these trips, meanwhile I spend only maximum of $1,500.
Fam.
I'll say this about like the way I budget. I know myself. I'm old enough to know myself, and I know I don't show constraints. I feel like money shouldn't prohibit me from doing shit.
I like having fun.
Therefore, I protect myself against myself. I have 3 different bank accounts with 3 different banks. I have a savings, a bills account, and I know what my bills are every month. So every check I get that amount taken out. Half of my entire bills for the month taken out. I know how much I want to save per check. Everything else is mine. I could blow everything in my account and still be good because I'm not sacrificing my bills or my savings.
You ain't never told us this, but wait, so
I don't talk about my money. But for real, I think you really have to come up with a strategy that works for you. It took me a long time to figure this out. But I know when I log into my daily account, I could blow all that shit right now.
How do you
and be good. As long as I get paid again.
Account?
So
but I automatic deposit. Set it up through your company, however they pay you.
So you have money going into all 3?
3, yeah. Out of every check, I have
a certain
what
percentage.
I want, how much I want to save, half of what I want to save that month, half of my bills, and the rest goes to me.
So I don't have 3 separate banks, but I do have 3. I have one bank with 3 accounts, and I do the same thing.
But
so I have like my check comes here, and then it gets distributed to like this savings is for this savings is for this. This is like my general spending money, and then when it's time for me to pay bills, I just shift it around, pay these bills, and that's it.
And as you go, I know how much money I have for myself. I adapt my life to that. At first, when I started doing, I was like, "Shit, it's not enough money." Blah blah blah. I adapted my life to that because having a savings and paying my bills on time became important to me.
It became.
And if it was all in one account.
He said a little now, a little yeah. Catch me.
Yeah, exactly.
He said it became important.
It did. It became important. Even like my phone bill, which I used to forget every fucking month until they were about to cut my shit off.
That's what I'm saying. It became.
Yeah, it became important.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, come up with a strategy that works for you, but make having a savings important. Even if you're saving $50 a check.
Is everyone saving here?
I'm talking about $50 a check. Just make it go.
I have an untouchable savings account that I do that with. Yeah. I think I put like 50 every 2 weeks or every week into it.
Every week. Wow.
Yeah.
One thing that Matt made me think about that I thought was great was what you touched on, everyone finding a system that works for you, right? So depending on how detailed you want to be. So I'm a little bit anal when it comes to these things. So I found a template, an Excel template online that literally has every individual expense that you could think of. And I mean, I am a huge advocate of Googling anything, different models for savings. Like, you can literally access the internet when we talked about just using what's at your fingertips and figuring out what are the different systems and modes that work for you. And the good thing is that chances are 9 times out of 10, somebody's already thought of it. Right? And then so you are experimenting with different things and you figure out this is something that works for me and then I'm just going to tweak it, put my little spin on it. And it definitely does make your life easier because I think no matter what system you choose, you need something that's going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Yes. That's really what it comes down to, is being accountable for your spending habits no matter what it is. And I realized I was spending money and then just crying about it. And I realized, like, I need to set up a system that holds me accountable for this so that I'm not looking at myself the week before my rent is due like, oh, niggas ain't got this money in my account. Why?
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, let's just also, because we talked about savings and stuff, and that's a privilege to be talking about that. So let's also realize that you have to be able to make enough money to save.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was that Atlanta episode.
I agree. I feel you, but I'm talking about saving dollars. I'm telling you, if it's $10 a fucking check every 2 weeks, just do something if you can. If you can,
absolutely.
If you can spare that, but just know, because eventually that money's going to come. It's going to become useful, and you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, or especially with you guys being entrepreneurs, you want like a little fun to like take care of those little things that inevitably come up, right?
Right. And to your point earlier, like cutting out the things that we don't actually need. $10 a month
it don't seem
is
like nothing.
Then $120 that you have back, which is something little, but if you get coffee every morning or if you eat Chipotle every other Friday, like that, I mean, whatever, like splurge, treat yourself. But also remember where these little amounts of money are going and that the little things actually do save up.
Y'all watch Everybody Hates Chris, right? Like
yeah.
Everybody Hates Chris. Yeah. So the father, like, you know, he's ridiculous, but also he's right. Because when you think about money in terms of, okay, what is this money's or this thing that I bought, what is this equivalence? So $10 a month for Spotify or Apple Music, whatever, it seems like nothing, but then it's just like, yo, if I got 3 services, then that's $360 per year. What else can I get for $360? And then you think,
flight.
Yeah, you just think like, okay, this is a round trip flight. Yep. This is this big screen TV that I always wanted. What else can I get for this value? And then it has you thinking, like, sometimes I cancel a subscription. I'm like, yo, that's eating out for like a day. I can go out for another day because of this thing that I don't need. So
right.
You know, I think it's important to have that.
That's real. So are there any, I guess, sort of lasting tips that you want to share that you haven't shared already about either how you spend, how you save, best practices?
Not tips, but I want to also talk about the fact that a lot of us will never have that much money. And even if we're saving and, you know, we're being, our community collectively, like, we don't have that much money.
Right.
And so even if we are privileged to individually have money, like, what do we do? And so I think it's important to also, even if you can itemize, okay, what do I do? What am I good at? And try to, you know, attach a value to that. So when you go into barter situations, you can say, okay, well, this is worth this and this is worth that. And I think that it would serve us all ultimately to move to and at least incorporate a system where we use barter more, because we know a bunch of people who are talented and like, you know, have a bunch of skills, but they don't necessarily have money. And so it's like, how do we use barter, and how do we, if you need food and you need somebody to clean your home, and you know you both have skills, like how can you
I hate you.
What do you do?
Right.
What do we do?
Why are you tripping? I can't deal with either one of y'all. Yeah, I agree with you. There are ways to like Najee.
The reason they laughing.
I was really girl. I was trying.
Yeah, I never saw nothing like that in my life. Earlier, I had a large bottle of wine. It slipped out of a hand. It landed in a million pieces on the floor.
It was tragic, y'all. I watched it
happen. And so I immediately called somebody down the street to come and clean it up.
So this is the thing. I'm standing there with C, right? I'm with her standing there. She drops the bottle, and it's the definition of smithereens. Glass everywhere. Bottle's done. And she says, I'm going to text so-and-so to come clean this up because I don't feel like, I'm just like not about to deal with this. And I said, what you mean you just going to text somebody? It's after 5 p.m. Everybody's off the clock. This is not a cleaning lady. You just going to text somebody. And she said, yeah, my man's came in here 15 minutes later, spick and span.
Wait,
and that was
came here with a portable vacuum cleaner. Like, let's be very clear and specific. All right,
think about it.
First of all, it's freezing outside. Came within 10 minutes, on time, rang the bell, came upstairs,
smiling,
asked multiple times, do you want to go in and check to see the progress that I've made? Spick and span, portable vacuum cleaner, mop, swept,
facts.
Everything. And so
using our talents.
When we talk about using your skills and talents, I respect brother.
And so what if
I respect my man, but I just need to know how you find these people.
And so let's rewind.
Like most of all, I need to know whose connect that is, because
honestly we use
and so we need like a marketplace like that. Right.
A marketplace.
So what if you didn't have any cash on you? And instead,
did you Venmo him?
No, I had cash, but go ahead.
And so instead, what if you made a delicious meal because what you did, you love to cook?
I thought that's what a man is for in general, not like a person I'm hiring.
And so, okay, okay, but let's just stick to this situation here.
Being very frank.
But let me just.
And so imagine
I
like
get what you're saying,
you were able
what men are supposed to do. Woo! Okay, girl.
And so what if he was able to, you know, clean this mess, and you were able to give him a meal or two, and that was his compensation.
That's real.
That's real.
You know, so
I appreciate that, because you both said something earlier that was really impactful about Black labor, Black talent. Can you run that back, D?
I just said that historically Black labor and talent has been exploited for free. That most of the things that we do we're not compensated for effectively.
Right. And because of that history, it still affects us today. And our culture and talents are appropriated, and having a platform where you could find that kind of barter exchange. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we found him through Handy, which I'm not advertising for Handy, but I've noticed we get like a bi-weekly cleaner to the crib, and I've noticed that it's like a lot of young brothers. I'm ignoring these little breath that she just gave, because we do have a bi-weekly cleaner that comes to the crib and gets this bitch spick and span. But nonetheless, I've noticed there's been a lot of young Black men who come and clean, which I hate to be the person to say it, but I was like, oh, yo, a nigga in this house? He over here washing dishes. He's in the toilet, sweeping in the bathroom. He's over here. It was a dude, and it's a Black dude who was doing all this. But I've noticed the quality is there. And it's getting out of that same narrative of like, you know what, if he's able to clean the crib, why would I limit anyone else from doing anything else? If it's some young woman who says, I want to come and
fix your light bulbs and
exactly do something that's more manual, that's not, if she has a talent and she wants to do it, why not? You know, using a different form of commerce meals. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't crave a good home cooked meal from somebody's grandma?
Or whatever else, or whatever else they need, right? And so, so what if somebody's grandma, she's on SSI, like she gets a little bit enough money to get by, kind of, but not really. But she cooks a hell of a. And
she loves to cook.
She loves to cook. That's how she takes care of people. And so, what if she could use that? And she could eventually, when she wants to, she could go buy clothes for her grandkids if she wants to. She could go buy. You know, and so
what I will say is we should invest.
We should do it
in a barter system.
We should do it
because what just transpired here, we ain't gonna tell y'all till we launch it.
That would help so many people.
Is a really dope idea for just like a marketplace in terms of bartering and figuring out. So if there's any other last tips or things that we want to share, we should do it now.
I want to pose this question to the group. Are there any books that you would recommend, maybe on just like financial literacy?
You know what's funny? My mother is really big on this, and she has like given me every Susie Orman book imaginable. I personally, it's good information, especially if you're new into the saving and investing and like finding tricks of the trade that like help people in their everyday life who are young and saving money and how you can diversify. You know, and she even wrote this, opening up accounts with different banks and things like that, which I'm still confused how that helps you. I guess it's like more of a mental thing, helping you save more money. But Susie Orman book, I can list out a few of them I have in my room right now. I don't have that many financial literacy suggestions, but those are a few that I have.
Two that I would say, one of them's cliche, but it is the best book for financial foundation is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Point blank period. It schools you at the very basic level of saving money and making your money work for you, which is something all wealthy people in America do. Probably all wealthy people in the world. Also, one I would say is this book called Richest Man in Babylon. It gives you like financial lessons through like really basic, toned down stories and lessons and stuff like that. But that stuck out in my head too.
I want to suggest for beginners, especially if you have either a younger audience or if you have younger nieces or nephews, specifically, Kevin Powell edited a collection called The Black Male Handbook. And so it's 10 different contributors who are talking about everything that you need to know from like your spiritual health, mental health, but economic prosperity as well. There's a section in there where I can't remember who the contributor is, but he breaks down very simple, fundamental, culturally specific tools and techniques that can be helpful. Small things like if you're trying to pay your bills on time, maybe setting aside 2 times a month to do it. Just small little things that are suggestions that could be a good launching point to other areas that could help you be well versed. And you don't just have to find it in books, but you can find it digital media apps like Mint or whatever, different places that can help you really budget and become good stewards over your finances.
Right. Thank you.
And so I use Mint, but I also use an Excel spreadsheet.
It's obnoxious, yo. They'd be like,
yeah, I heard like pros and cons, but like Max said, about what works for you.
No, I created my own spreadsheet. I don't have a one that was taken offline. I just made one for myself. I honestly did it because when I moved, my roommate and I had to coordinate finances, and the easiest way to do it was just to have both of our budgets in a spreadsheet. So that's what I did. I actually did get promoted, and it's gonna change the amount of money I make, and so
did you announce this to me?
Hey.
It was in a group chat.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Hello.
Turn up. Yo, can we do the third shot?
Yeah.
Can we do the
Congratulations. Shots. Congratulations, D. D got a promotion. You better hear that shit. What's your shot at, though?
I took it already. Yeah, and so it's going to change how I have to budget because I'll have more money and I'll be like, oh, I got all this money. Yeah, so.
And a bonus.
It's a good life.
That part.
So we'll see how that goes, but I'm happy that I have things in place that are already helping me budget so that I won't start living crazy like outside my means just because I have more to spend.
Yeah. And you got a budget in place, so all this extra money you're going to be getting is about to be like your money.
Right. That's actually damn, Cliff, don't tell me that.
I'm just saying.
No, you're right though.
That's the best part of putting that shit in place early. When you get more money, it's your money. Your bills don't go up when you get a raise, right?
Yeah. Well, unless you want more.
And it's guilt free. You know that shit's your money. You're not sacrificing what you gotta do.
So we'll see. But I think this was dope. We kind of gave a good diverse perspective on how we spend and how we save. This concludes episode 4, the last and final episode of our Black History Month series. We really hope that you guys learned something and enjoyed it and had a great time with us.
Thank you to the guests who joined us. Thank you, Mac, for dropping that knowledge. Utak.
Yes.
Najee.
Yes, right. It's the New York City show.
I can't. Y'all can.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Seriously.
Thank you, Habari Gani.
Yes, shout out to the Kiswahili in the room. Let us know what else you want to hear on the podcast. We definitely want to take more suggestions. Hopefully you're enjoying the series for Black History Month. But check us out on Facebook at Black Meets World, on Instagram at Black_Meets_World, and also on the Twitters, Black Meets World. Email us with anything you got, blackmeetsworld@gmail.com or info@blackmeetsworld. Love y'all.
Bye.